Right.
They assume that when I post something, then everyone, like Obama, watches it.
Yeah.
And now he thinks negatively of the family.
Yes. See, I think that's the best part about it.
What is?
Is that people don't really understand it's not that big of a deal.
Right.
But for some people, it is a big deal.
For some people, it's the end all be all.
And that's the trick the media plays on us.
Okay. In what way?
Because it's kind of like the news. Let's just say you and I, hypothetically, we're the news, we're the media.
Mm-hmm.
And we then say, hey, this is what's going on, and we totally know it's bullshit. Or we can at least adjust the narrative to how we think the general public should respond to it.
Okay.
And that's the fucking news.
I see that, but what do you think that has something to do right now with what's going on now?
It's always that way. So it's not to say that it's not true.
Yeah.
Just make sure there's lots of conversations that go on prior to for this whole filtering process. Edited, per se. Did you watch that documentary I sent you?
Not yet.
Dark Shadows?
Not yet.
No, it's fucking... You want to start with a prayer?
You should start with a prayer. Okay. Okay.
Is it going to be filmed or no?
Yeah. Okay.
You say a prayer, because I've never heard you pray.
Okay.
Make sure you pray to Jesus, because you know I'm a Christian.
Right. Who else would I pray to?
Well, you'd be surprised, man. You'd be surprised. People pray to some other stuff.
Like what?
I don't want to go there. I'm not going there. But all I know is if you around me, if you don't pray to Jesus, we're going to have a serious problem.
Okay.
So like if you like, like that, if you want me to lose it, bring me on somebody else that's not praying to Jesus.
Okay. So
like that would be your best episode yet. Me and the Satan worshiper.
Oh my God, I need to find one.
If you find one,
would you come back and do
it?
it?
Absolutely. I would light his ass up.
Oh, I need to find a Satan worshiper now.
Yeah. Pretty much all you got to do is just not be rocking with Jesus and praying with something else.
Okay. Let's pray.
All right.
Dear Lord, let's thank you so much for this opportunity to talk to my dear cousin about trials and tribulations and talk honestly for the benefit, for the entertainment and the informational aspect of today's conversation. I pray that this video gets the most views. I pray that we honor ourselves and our family, and I pray that it's just a healing, beautiful talk in your name,
Jesus. In Jesus' name, amen. Jesus.
In Jesus' name,
amen.
All right. Okay. So I'm here with my cousin
Raiden. Smoke. Johnny Cage.
Where's Smoke come from?
Who is That's my mother's maiden name.
Okay.
So you know how my parents never got married.
Mm-hmm.
So initially, for 13 years of my life, I went by my mother's last name. Then she changed it legally, so I get the hyphen.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why.
Fight.
I didn't know that. I thought that was... Well, so you don't have like a formal middle name then, do you?
I do have a formal middle name.
What is it?
And I don't know if I want to talk about that on TV.
What? I've never... What is it? It's like...
It's quite possibly the most gayest name you can think of.
Sector.
It's worse. It's worse than...
Tor.
Worse than...
Tor.
I wish it was...
Tor.
What is it, please?
It's...
Wins.
I knew you were going to laugh.
Wins.
That's right, let's be careful because of the social distancing. I can't.
Smoke. Wins.
Man, that's why you got so big. That's why you start working out, because your middle name was just... show these motherfuckers.
Let's just take that out of there. Let's just take that out of there. That might have a lot to do with it.
Yeah. It's all...
You might be right.
Right, you know.
But why would somebody do that to their son?
Well, your mom did a lot of stuff to you that you don't necessarily...
Well, she's dead now, so
she's dead, right? And right,
you gotta be careful.
I know,
and you know your mother's watching,
right? So before we started recording, my mom called me and she said,
"Johnny,
don't talk about your dad's relationships because he's what is he on? 8 kids by
8 kids,
5 women.
Is it 5 women?
I think so, right?
4.
4? Okay. So she said, don't talk about that. And the first thing I want to talk about with you is
Okay.
is your dad's. What do you think, seeing all those women, your dad, what did that do to you?
What did it do to me? Well, for me, it was normal.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just kind of like, hey, I was born, and he was with my mom when I was born,
Mm-hmm.
and then he wasn't with my mom when I was born. He was with Dylan's mom when I was born,
Mm-hmm.
and then you see that there are other siblings, and they have a mom too. So you just kind of like, oh, it's just is what it is.
Has your dad ever given you life-changing pivotal advice about women?
No.
He's never given you.
He just always say, son, what you see is what you get.
Okay.
They don't change.
Women don't change.
They don't change. You can't change them. That's the only thing he says.
Well, that's true.
That is true. So, whatever you see, that's what it is.
Oh, that's amazing then, Marcel.
So run if you can. If you can run, run.
Yeah.
But don't think it's going to get better.
That's so much better than any advice my dad's ever given me about women.
Okay, so what type of advice did your dad give you about women?
Well, make sure they're pretty, and going somewhere. Which is valid, but it's not like...
But the prettiest ones happen to be the craziest ones today.
I wonder what that correlation is.
I've got a theory behind it. And I think it has to do with, you and I, Dylan, have talked about it, the term active inertia.
Right.
Which is essentially, you only evolve based on your handicaps when you're forced to handicap.
Mm-hmm.
But if you really think about the path of an attractive woman, and you can see it in the schools now, they don't really have to do anything.
No.
They have the easiest life.
Right.
Doors are just open for them by their DNA.
It's called pretty privilege.
And it's there.
Yeah.
So as a result, as the older they get, while everyone else is evolving and having to make changes and adjust and develop socially, they don't.
Yeah.
Until they get older.
I see that a lot more with white women, actually.
I see it with black women too, to be honest with
you.
Yeah. Because they're always saying, there ain't no man out here. It's like, yes, there are men out here. It's just that sometimes you got to do your part to try to get one.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like sometimes you have to do something other than just being you to get one.
Shit.
Maybe smile. That's right there. Smile and eye contact.
Yeah.
You know?
Maybe it starts with being a good person.
Yeah. But if you've been an asshole and a privileged woman your whole life, you don't think there's anything wrong with it because you've always been rewarded for it.
Fuck. I want to disagree with you because it sounds sexist. But I don't know if it is sexist. Is it sexist?
Well, what is sexist?
I think sexist is having unfair, biased opinions based on sex.
But is it unfair? Because life really isn't fair. Because everyone's talking about the whole concept of equality, but it's not possible to have equality.
Why not?
Because we're all different. Like, the only way you can have equality is every man was the same height, every man looked exactly the same, everyone had the same income, everyone had the same strengths and weaknesses. Then you get equality. But that's not true.
Well, I see what you're saying. It's impossible to have that type of equality. But there's this fantastic image up right now. There's an image of like people are looking at a baseball game and they can't see over the fence, and that's inequitable, right? Because there's a tall guy who can see over the fence of the baseball game, right? There's a medium-sized guy who's kind of have to jump up, and there's a little short guy who can't see it at all. But equality, the next photo is equality. It's of like fucking, they're on boxes now, right? So the little guy on the box, not to the baseball game, that's equality. So equality is giving people what they need to be equal, right?
Okay. Or to just be able to essentially try to perceive it the way the other guy has already perceived it.
Okay. What does that mean?
Well, essentially, the only thing that happened was the guy who was 6 foot, nothing happened.
Right.
So essentially, only thing you did was just gave some people other than him an advantage when nothing was done for him, which essentially is going to create inequality. Because the only thing that's happening is we're just going to select people and saying, well, we need to make these people more like him and let's allocate resources to these people. Well, just because I'm 6 feet doesn't mean I'm a bad person.
No.
Maybe I need some things too.
Right.
But then that person who's short is going to say, no, you're 6 feet. You've got everything handed to you. You've got everything. You don't need anything. Which essentially, the whole concept of equality is just not possible. It's unachievable. So I think that it just gets to a certain point that we just have to be aware
Mm-hmm.
of these biases,
Yeah.
that they exist. Because like one of the things I remember my grandmother used to always tell me growing up is whenever you go out, make sure you dance with unattractive women and fat women too. Now it's funny. See, there you go. It's funny, but the only thing she was trying to say was at the dances, all the guys want to dance with the pretty girls. They're not thinking about the fat ones and the unattractive.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So she was just trying to say, hey, I know you're going to like the attractive ones and you're going to gravitate that way, but just try to throw them a bone from time to time.
Have you ever had sex with a fat woman?
No.
Why not?
I don't want to.
Why not?
It's not my cup of tea.
Well, why not though?
I don't like it.
What don't you like about it?
What don't I like about it? It doesn't attract me. It just doesn't get me going. Like, be more direct. What do you mean, what don't I like about it?
Would you have sex with Queen Latifah? She's not. Well, that's Lizzo. Would you have sex with Lizzo?
Oh, would I have sex with? No.
Okay.
No.
Just leave that where it is.
Cool.
This is gonna be amazing. Okay, no, I understand that, right? And I think that your grandma had a great point.
Yeah.
Because that makes them feel good.
Yeah.
That makes them feel great.
Because you got to think about how they're feeling as women coming in as, young girls and seeing all the attractive women get all the attention and they're just sitting there.
That has to be soul crushing.
Yeah.
There was this girl I met at a party. She was less attractive than her friend, and everyone had attempted to learn her friend's name. She had a crazy name, like
Scorpion.
no one could pronounce it.
Yeah.
So her unattractive friend, quote unquote, by beauty standards that are fucked up, her unattractive friend is sitting next to her. All night people are going, hey, so what's your name? And they have to fucking do this bizarre dance. What's your name? And she watched it 100 times. And this girl's name was like
Jax.
some basic shit, right? Like, I bet she was thinking, I wish people would just ask me my fucking name.
Yeah.
You don't have to have this fucking awkward 25-second thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that people need attention, especially women. Women need attention. Now, you get attention from a certain section of people. You get attention from homosexuals.
Yeah, the homosexuals. I would say I probably get the most attention from homosexuals, and it's weird, man.
Okay, tell
It's
me.
weird. It's
Right.
weird. The only thing that saves me is that I'm not in Atlanta.
Oh,
Like if I was in Atlanta, I would be getting in fights
yeah.
because my rule of thumb is anything that I can't say to a woman, you can't say to me.
Yes, that's right.
And they have totally crossed that line. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like, I'm all about gay rights, but hey, you don't get to say that because you can't talk that way to people.
Because that's disrespectful.
Yes.
It's
harassment.
It's
harassment.
And so to clarify, you're a personal trainer. So you're in and out of gyms. You know what I mean? So in these scenarios, you told me one time that one of your clients said something to you crazy and you were like, I'm going to have to put up with this. I'm at work, man. I'm going to have to put up with this.
Oh, my God. The stories just go on and on.
Can you tell us one?
I don't know which one you're talking about, but
they
they happen all the time. So I don't even know which one, where to go, where to start. But I have now gotten to the point that I just put up my little force field and it's like, hey, I don't mind communicating. I don't mind talking. You can be gay. You can talk your gay stuff. Yeah. Just don't start trying to hit on me. And if you do approach me, and after I've said no, that's not what I do. That's not what I'm into. That's it.
Have you ever been approached by a gay family friend?
By a gay family?
I'm thinking about two guys. Right? I'm going to add out these names. But either...
Is that your best?
No, I never said anything.
Neither one of them. Neither one of them.
Okay.
But what I can say...
But you know gay, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And why people say he's not?
Because they clearly are just delusional.
Yeah.
People are delusional, man. Like we live in a world right now where things can just be happening in plain sight.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of like people will just choose to look at the illusion.
Why is that? And then I know it infuriates
pisses me off.
I know it infuriates
pisses me off because it's like it's right there in your face.
And we'll get to the Matrix.
We'll get to the Matrix later.
We'll get to that later. But I do want to talk more about homosexuals.
We can talk about homosexuals.
And I want to
talk all about homosexuals. Because honestly, for straight men, there needs to be more awareness of it.
Right.
Because a lot of times you think somebody's just a regular dude. You're like, oh man, this is a nice guy. and they got ulterior motives. They got ulterior motives.
Right, and that's the fuck.
Have you experienced it?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So you know exactly what I'm talking
When
about.
I was 16, I was walking home from the bus stop from high school. I was 16. I had my backpack on, and this guy pulled up next to me in his car. He said, "Come here, come here, come here,
Come here.
come here, come here." I said, "Okay, whatever, man.
What's up?
Yeah. What? He said, "I'll show you. I will give you $50 if you show me your dick right now." And I was 16,
Oh my
and I'm going,
God.
"No, dude,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna," because that's you're a crazy person. You asked a perfect stranger to see his penis. You're a crazy person. It's not about you being gay. It's about you being a fucking psychopath.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, only thing that was just that was the door opening, showing you there's some different stuff going on.
Yeah.
Because you also got to think about it. He may not have been a psychopath. You got to think about all the guys that are like, oh yeah, $50 just to show my dick? Sure, no problem. Because people only do what they've been able to get away with doing.
That's work for him.
You see what I'm saying?
That's work.
So that means that there is as much as me. So that's when I realized it's a serious problem.
Yeah.
Because when you hear how they come at you, you kind of like, well, wait a minute, you shouldn't be saying that. But then you kind of like, well, if you're saying it, then that means it must have worked for you.
A success rate.
So that means that some guys that look like me are clearly going.
Yeah.
Which is why I think there is definitely a big epidemic of down low bisexual men, and I think there's more of them than we think that there are.
Yeah.
That's what I honestly believe. That's my honest.
Sometimes I think
Destiny.
that's gay stuff.
Well, you got to edit that because what we're not going to do.
We're not gonna say right. I'm not edit out the names, but do you think that
Destiny.
Oh, these names are going to be edited?
Yeah.
Oh, well then absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You think
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Without a shadow of a doubt.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. I could even go on paper and confirm that I've even heard
That's fucking
people to confirm it. So
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
We gotta get in trouble for this.
Why?
We gotta get in trouble. Our parents are gonna be mad at us.
What are they going to be upset about? They don't have to watch it.
If they're going to, I want them to.
Well, if they watch it, you can say, hey, you can turn it off.
We're degenerates, and you gave us, you called it.
No, we're not degenerates.
But why do you think that we're viewed as degenerates? 'Cause I think I think we are viewed as degenerates.
It's because we're just not trying to conform with society.
Yeah.
We're not trying to conform.
I don't trust society.
You can't.
Yeah.
You can't trust it. If you're not at the very least having some question marks right now, okay, wait a minute, something doesn't really seem right about all this shit right now. At the very least, you should be questioning it. So I'm not necessarily saying that you have to totally embrace everything anyone said, but you should be looking at everything critically right now. Like something is not adding up right now.
Yeah.
It ain't making sense.
I think people think you're degenerate because you're not married.
Okay, well they can think that. They can think that. Then they should think everybody who's not married is a degenerate.
Would you consider yourself a whoremonger?
A whoremonger? No.
Have you ever been a whoremonger?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Oh, absolutely.
Right. And when were you? Around what age?
I would say the 20s. I would say is when the hedonism really peaks in your 20s.
Yeah. Were you working in a strip club then?
Yeah. That's when it gets.
So you're working in the strip club as a bouncer.
But not a bouncer, a bodyguard.
A bodyguard.
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, it is.
So as a bodyguard at a strip club.
Yeah.
And all those women were just, what were they doing?
You want to know what the one thing you learn about women, man? Is strippers are no different than any other women.
No,
they get mad, they get jealous.
Yeah.
It just never ends.
Yeah.
So they're no different than any other women.
But they're nicer.
They honestly are easier to deal with.
They're easier to deal with.
They're easier to deal with because they don't want to play any games.
Nope.
They don't want the facade that most other women want when it comes to courting them. They're just kind of like, hey, you want to go grab a bite? You want to go to a movie? Sure.
Whose birthday was that? It was your dad's birthday. It was me, you, your dad, my dad, our family friend, and I think at the time your girlfriend's dad, right? What's the man's name, Mr.
Where did we go?
I don't know. I'm fucking strip club.
Oh no, he wasn't there. He wasn't there. It was
He
me.
He went one time with us, though, didn't he?
No.
Okay.
No. It was me, you,
Babality.
Yeah.
all of our dads.
Yeah.
Fight. Fight.
Yes. Yes. We all were there.
Yeah. Now, how would you describe my dad in the strip club?
I mean, your dad's the type of person, he's the same no matter where he goes.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so you can pretty much just use your imagination.
Yeah.
And once he gets a little alcohol, he's just...
Oh, my dad. It's interesting. I haven't seen... I don't. My dad's not a big drinker.
No, he's not.
He's not a big drinker. I've seen him maybe drunk 2 or 3 times for real.
Yeah.
And I told you about that one time. He was at somebody's block party. Yeah. And then my mom had to carry him.
Because he got too drunk.
Yeah. And then she laid him on the couch and he's eating chicken wings like this. And again, that's not my dad at all. My dad's a very by the books, straight laced guy.
Yeah.
But it was interesting because I remember looking at him. He's got these chicken wings on his going,
Well, your dad is just funny, man.
He's a funny guy.
He is quite possibly, he might be the funniest person.
He's also crazy.
We all nuts, dude.
Yeah.
We are all.
But my dad is crazy.
On a scale from 1 to 10, what do you give him his crazy meter?
9.
Ooh, 9.
You wouldn't?
Well, like I said, as we talked about before.
Now you're being Mr.
No,
Nice
I'm not
guy.
being a nice guy. I'm saying is that there's a different element.
Goddamn cameras on. You're being Mr. Nice
There's
guy.
a different, but then you also got to understand that my spectrum of crazy may be different. So my 10 may not be your 10.
So then what would you give your dad?
On crazy?
Yeah.
I would say my dad just lives in La La Land. So he's just like, sometimes you just be like, Dad, you have no idea what's going on, do you? Or you're just choosing not to even acknowledge that this is going on.
Yeah.
And you're just like, I'm just going to stick with my art.
Your dad's an artist through and through.
Oh, he's gone.
Yeah,
I think he's just gone. Like, I don't even think he's here with us.
Yeah.
He just chooses to come in from time to time.
Yeah.
And then he's like, all right, now I'm back to space, guys.
Back to space, guys.
See you.
And does that frustrate you?
No, it used to.
Right.
It used to.
But you're easily frustrated because you're like my dad.
You think I'm easily
I
frustrated?
know you're easily frustrated.
It could be. No, certain things get me there.
A lot.
There's just certain
Everything
things
gets you there.
you can just push a button. It's like, let's take Marcel to 7. It's like,
Yeah. And do you feel like sometimes people press those buttons intentionally?
No, I don't
No?
think. No, I don't
Okay.
think people press them intentionally.
Okay.
If they do, I don't know that they do. So I could be to the point where I'm getting older and people are playing me and I don't know it. But at the same time, I just let it out. It's kind of like, hey, you push that button, you got to deal with the consequences.
Yeah.
You know?
What's been pressing your button recently?
Oh, what's been pressing my button recently is this social distancing shit. It's getting on my fucking last nerve.
What aspect of it?
It's people are loving it and liking it too much.
Yeah.
And they're like promoting
People
it.
are embracing it.
It's like, you do know that the government has just told you all to stay in the house and you all did it.
Yeah.
And the last time I checked, based on the Constitution and the laws of sovereignty, that the government can tell us what we can't do legally, but when it comes to things that we're going to do as far as our own bodies, they don't have jurisdiction over that. So that's when I'm kind of like, you do know this is like the acclamation to a fascist system.
Yeah.
But people don't look at it that way.
You say, so you're saying that social distancing is an acclamation to a fascist system?
Well, I'm just saying, at the very least,
it could very well be a blueprint to
we've
totalitarianism.
Absolutely, we've just been acclimated to it.
Yeah,
we've just gone for it.
Yeah.
Now, granted, I'm not saying that that the virus itself isn't a horrible thing and
it's a terrible thing,
and that people aren't dying. That's one thing. However, I think that there are different ways that you could go about monitoring society with it. So for me, I don't believe in anyone telling me when I can and can't leave my house. If I want to go outside and get coronavirus, that's my damn business.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get to tell me that I can't do that. Now you can tell me I can't put you at risk, Adam, but if I want to take my ass and walk my ass from Chicago to New York or across, that's my damn business. Because I'm not hurting anybody.
And that's the part that irritates you about it.
Pisses me off.
Because you aren't being told what to do.
Well, who's supposed to tell you what to do?
But you don't think that sometimes people have your best interest at heart?
Oh, absolutely. If someone has my best interest at heart and is saying, hey, I don't think you should do this because I think that these are going to be the consequences, that's different.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing we can say is historically, the government has never had the people's best interest at heart. That does not go under characteristics of the United States government as having the people's best interest at heart. We can agree with that.
100%.
All right.
You'd be a fool not to.
Well, we got a lot of fools.
You'd be a fucking fool not to.
Because everybody's right now looking at CNN and they're just kind of like, all right, government, what should we do next?
Yeah.
What do we do next?
Yeah. And I guess
then we're thinking that, there are these wonderful people out there just really trying to keep this virus at bay and to make sure that they're doing what's best for society. Like they're these, superheroes that are just and that's totally not the case. Because if you just look at all the crazy shit that's happening, like the real thing you want to be looking at is what type of laws are being put in place right now.
Mm-hmm.
No one knows. And guess what? That shit is not going to be on the news. And then you're going to find out 5 or 10 years later, that law was passed and this is why we're fucked here. Because they keep using the same tricks.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
They keep using the exact same tricks. Create this pandemic or something really tragic to get us scared and focus on that. Meanwhile, that's when they attack. And it keeps happening. And then we forget. So then once this does get down and people can go back to clubs and start eating again and being happy, they'll forget the coronavirus even happened.
And that's scary.
And then when the monster comes out again, 5 or 10 years from now, everybody's going to act surprised again. Like 9/11. Like we saw 9/11. We saw 9/11 was some bullshit.
Yeah.
But then we want to act like, the government doesn't do bullshit. When we all saw it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We saw it. Now, granted, it's happening every, they're spacing the time out, but we can't act like these events don't happen.
And
have always happened
and they're
throughout
used
time.
to justify something else.
Exactly.
The 9/11 debacle, which, one can argue was an inside job.
Yeah.
I'd be one to argue that,
I think so too.
And that was used to justify a resource war,
Mm-hmm.
right? So potentially COVID, this whole thing, could be an ends to a mean to justify some other fuck shit.
Absolutely.
You're right. And the government has a track record of that type of shit, right?
This is what they do.
From assassinations to tons of wars have been used to justify legislation.
Mm-hmm.
So I would not be surprised if this was some type of clever ruse.
Yeah. At the very least, if you're thinking that way, you got the right to think that way.
But when you get mad, people don't think that way.
I do.
And why does that upset you?
Well, because what ends up happening is, let's just hypothetically say, we could at least say that at the very least, the envelope's getting pushed, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then there's going to come this time where the government's going to be like, all right, fuck y'all. Y'all got to handle y'all own shit.
Mm-hmm.
And then what are people going to do? Look to the government for fucking help. So I'm saying that while you're like coexisting in a society, it's kind of like, hey, you still have to do things and understand that essentially your life, your sovereignty, it's your responsibility. Your family, that's your responsibility, not theirs. So that means that that's how you should be living your life, not looking for them to tell you how to protect your family and how to deal with them. That is your responsibility as a human being. And most people subscribe to that philosophy who aren't like indoctrinated into this system. They know that, no, it's up to me.
Mm-hmm.
So then it's kind of like, all right, then people are going, don't get me wrong, like you should always be helping people. So I'm not saying that there aren't people that, don't need a helping hand and we shouldn't be charitable. But at the same time, we still have certain responsibilities that we have to do ourselves.
Right. Now you and I got into an argument on Easter about what were we fighting about on Easter? There was something
vitamins.
There's something right.
So we thought about vitamins.
And you gonna kick my ass.
We thought about constructs.
And you said that people sometimes want to kick my ass. You said that.
I said, I know your dad definitely wants to kick your ass sometimes, and I see why he does want to.
Why would you say that?
Because you got this bad side. You like to fuck with people.
I don't like to fuck with people.
Yeah, you do.
I don't.
No, I'm saying you have this side that you will fuck with people, and you'll just be like, you will just push that button.
But I don't know what you're talking about. I honestly don't know what you're talking about. Well, I'm not even trying to
be
funny.
But remember when you sent me that little personality thing that it showed you all the characters that you relate to?
Yeah.
Those were all people that fuck with people. Loki.
Yeah.
And I was like, yep, that's Adam. The Joker. You fucks with people all the fucking time.
Yeah.
So all of those things, I was like, yep, that's you. Now, they're not bad people.
Yeah.
But they're just one of those people, they're going to challenge you. And the problem is some people don't like being challenged.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes when people are challenged and they can't argue their point efficiently and effectively, it triggers them and they get into an emotional space, which makes them angry. So you like to challenge people. You get off on that. And you know you do. See?
Okay, so we're fighting on Easter about vitamins.
Yeah.
And then
walk
me through that. Walk me through what you were thinking. Because I can tell you were getting upset.
I was getting upset, but then I was kind of like,
you were going, I'm not going to talk to you anymore then. I just can't talk to you anymore then. And you just, I'm like, okay, I'm not talking. That's when you get real mad.
Yeah.
When you slow down. Well, I'm not talking to you.
Yeah, that's because sometimes my PTSD will get there.
Yeah.
And sometimes I can like feel it happening.
Yeah.
And then I can be like, all right, now you got two choices. You can either just back away and put yourself in the corner, mellow out, have a cup of tea, and everything will be okay.
Yeah.
But if you keep going in this direction, it can get bad fast. And it's like I can feel the metamorphosis happening. And it's like it's shaking it, and I'm like, okay, let me just get out of here. Let me get out of here.
Because you see yourself as the Hulk, right?
Yeah, I do.
You see
It's like I try so hard to be Bruce Banner.
Yeah.
But when that Hulk start coming out, it's like I know I don't have any control after that.
Yeah.
So it's like I have to just say, no, just go into the woods and leave me alone. Because when that Hulk comes out, it's not me.
Now, when's the last time the Hulk came out? Was it when you beat up those police officers? Can you talk about that? Is that? You said on your birthday, you said you gave a police officer a stone cold stunner.
Oh no, he hit me. I was drunk.
Yeah.
I was drunk.
Yeah.
But he hit me with the billy club.
Yeah. And then what happened?
And then I was knocked out, and then Kevin got involved.
That's not the story I'm talking about.
Which one are you talking about?
You said you beat up police officers because you gave one a stone cold stunner.
Oh, I hit him. I hit him first, and then he hit me with the billy club.
Okay. What from point?
You're asking me to remember something when I was 21 and drunk.
Okay.
Like imagine me asking you, hey Adam, tell me about something you were fucked up off your mind and tell me the details. I don't fucking know.
What details do you have about that? Because I remember hearing that you gave a police officer a stone cold stunner.
I gave the police officer a stone cold stunner. No, I have fought police officers off, not in uniform.
Okay.
And maybe that's what you're talking about. Maybe that's what you're talking about.
So what are you doing fighting police officers not in uniform?
Well, let's not bring up the fact that they're a police officer. They're just a person. Okay. And right now they're off the clock. So it was just kind of one of these gym things. And we just kind of sparred a bit. Because he thought he could take me. And I'm like, dude, you can't take me.
Yeah. It
was kind of one of those things. Because we don't want to paint a picture that I'm just this dude outside.
No, you're not.
Fighting police officers.
No.
You're going to get me in trouble.
You're very mild. You
see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So let's not say, Marcel's out there fighting police officers.
Yeah.
No. Then I'm the bad guy.
Yeah. You're not bad.
Then they'll pull us up. You hear what he said? You hear what he said?
Yeah. You're not a bad guy.
Mm-mm.
In fact, I think you're a very nice guy.
I am a nice guy.
I think you're a very nice guy.
Yeah.
But sometimes people won't, because I think that's also because you're big and people always want to test themselves against the big guy.
I don't know why that is.
So they go, okay. Because I think the last time the Hulk came out for you was with that guy at the gym who called you an asshole.
Oh, that motherfucker. You're right.
That's when the Hulk came out.
He was about to get his ass lit.
Tell people that story.
Tell the people that story. Well, it's pretty much I was on my way to the gym, and the way the parking was set up in the gym, cars were supposed to go one way, and I went down the wrong way, unknowingly, because it was my first time going to this gym. So you're supposed to kind of go this way, and I went this way, and took a parking lot because, hey, I see a parking lot, I'm taking the fastest one there. That's just a city mentality when it comes to driving. First come, first fucking serve.
Mm-hmm.
So I parked in the parking lot, and then he's gonna be telling me, well, you went down the wrong way. I'm already in the parking lot.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, I'm in here.
Now what does this guy look like?
He was, I think he was like an Arab taxi cab driver.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
So he was upset.
Yeah.
But he was expecting me to get out of the spot and give it to him. He was like, go ahead and get out the spot. I'm like, I'm not getting out the spot.
Yeah.
He's like, well, you went down the wrong way. I'm like, well, it's too late now. Go get another spot.
Yeah.
And he was like, you're a fucking asshole. And I was like, what? I was like, oh, hell no. And I was furious.
Yeah.
Because one thing I don't play is name calling with strangers.
Right.
If you don't know me, you do not get to call me by derogatory terms, and I'm going to light your ass up.
Right.
So the first thing I did was I went to the security officer who was there because I knew this was on camera.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, let me go to security officer. And I said, security, I said, you see that man in that car right there? He just threatened me, called me out of my name, and I'm afraid for my life. Because the first thing, if shit hits the fan, the first thing I want to be able to say is, what happened? He yelled at me. He threatened me. I'm scared for my life.
Right.
When I'm afraid for my life, I need to do whatever I can to protect myself. Because I was terrified.
Mm-hmm.
I was terrified. So then I told him, and I said, did you hear what I said? He said, yes. He says, that man threatened you. You're afraid for your life. I said, is there a camera somewhere? He's like, yeah, right there. So I'm saying that our conversation is on camera. So then I go to LA Fitness, and then I see him telling management on me. So now I'm pissed.
Mm-hmm.
So then I walked up and I told him, I said, I don't know what he's telling you, but whatever it is, you don't get to call people out of their name.
Mm-hmm.
That's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And then he turns around, he was like, you shouldn't do this. And I said, listen, I don't give a fuck what it is.
Mm-hmm.
You don't call me out my fucking name.
Right.
There's a way you can describe, whatever issue you're having. But you don't call me out my fucking name.
Right.
I'm just letting him know, like, dude, I'm not the one that you're going to just say any old fucking thing with no consequences.
Yeah.
And I was going to light his ass up. But then when I was looking at him, I could see, like, oh, man, I would destroy this guy.
Yeah.
So then I started to feel bad because he was going to walk out maimed. Like, it wasn't going to be punch, this or that. It was going to be like, no, some arm was going to be broke. Something was going to be wrong with him. And that's when I was like, you know what? Let me just have a little bit of compassion. Because maybe he had a bad day too.
Mm-hmm.
And let me just try to walk this out. But that's as the hope is coming back down, and I'm slowly coming back to Bruce Banner. Had he not driven away and I got out the car and we met, something bad would have really happened.
Right. And that made you nervous and guilty because you didn't want to do that, right?
No, when I want to do it, I want to do it.
Okay.
It's just that sometimes certain people don't deserve that.
Okay. And this guy didn't deserve it.
It was kind of like he wouldn't deserve that type of ass whooping. Mm-hmm. Like he would deserve like a slap in the face,
mm-hmm.
but he doesn't deserve like
what you were gonna do.
What I was going to do. He wasn't ready for that one. And sometimes you can just tell some people aren't ready.
How many fights have you been in? And what got you into combat? Because you weren't always in it.
Well, my mother put me in martial arts at 4.
Okay.
So I was always into combat.
Yeah.
Per se. But you know what? Just growing up, you're always fighting. You're just wrestling. You're mm-hmm. doing things. It's just what you do. Mm-hmm. But then over time, you realize that combat essentially kind of helps you. It helps me stay calm. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like when I can control it and I can manage it and I can practice it, it helps me stay calm. So it actually helps me not get into fights.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was starting to notice about you. There's always this, and what I admire about you too, there's always this thing bubbling below the surface with you. You're a very layered person.
Yes, I am.
You're a very layered
person.
And in fact, I think that you're layered, and I think that sometimes you perform layered, but even there's a layer under that too. There's a layer even beneath that a lot of people have to have a certain type of
lens.
Yeah, exactly. To really be like, oh, but that's something even under that layer.
Let's say there's something under there. Yeah. And then it's kind of like, oh, you really think you know what's going on? Well, wait till you see this one.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, man. I guess people put on layers as defenses to the world, right?
some people put on layers to defenses, but then there's sometimes that, depending on if you're introverted or extroverted, introverts typically draw within. So a lot of times,
are you an introvert? Probably.
Absolutely,
right?
Yeah. So most of my thoughts, most of my revelations happen when I just take the journey within myself.
When you get hot.
When I cross-examine myself and just really think about why is this, why is that, and then you just realize a lot of things about yourself just by sitting still and kind of just meditating. Yeah. So I think we all have layers about ourselves that some of us are aware of it, some of us are not.
Yeah.
I think human beings are way more complex in ways that we really don't understand yet.
Yeah, and I think that and that's the thing, complexity never goes away, because me and you have taken those trips within ourselves. We've analyzed ourselves and others.
Yeah.
And we've attained some clarity, but not 100% clarity, right?
You never get that.
And then on the flip side, there's people who do no inward looking.
None.
Who I'd even argue have the same level of clarity that we have, because it's all still like, at the end of the day, none of us fucking know what's going on.
Right.
Me and you might have the vocabulary to maybe assess some things, but ultimately we know no more than someone who's never even fucking considered, you know what I mean? It's the same level, it's the same shit.
It is the same shit. And that's the joke.
That's the joke.
We think that the world is changing and all this stuff, and it's like, no, it's just the same shit.
Yeah.
And it's just magnified, or it's just easily accessible. But everything essentially has always been here. There's nothing new under the sun. It's all the same stuff. Right, and that's the big trick. So it's kind of like the more and more you can kind of really simplify it and condense things, it's kind of like, all right, is it positive or is it negative? Life just gets easier. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like, do I like this person or do I not? I don't. All right, well then let me just not deal with them. As opposed to trying to understand why I don't like them and this and that. It's like, why even go through the negative energy? Like, just let it ride. It's just too many distractions now. There's too many people, too many distractions, and nobody's focused on anything anymore. Like, just think about just how the phone has just made our lives so much more complex than what they need to be. Like, I'm sure you being a teacher now is way harder than a teacher in my era.
It's both made it more complex, but also simplified a lot of stuff too now, right? Because now I can communicate handheld. But in a sense, that communication now is mandatory for me at all times. Right. Whereas it used to be, if I'm not in front of you,
right,
neither one of us are culpable for X. But now, since we all have these supercomputers in our fucking hands, it raises responsibility and it raises duty.
Yeah.
People go, well, you had your fucking phone on you. Why didn't you do this?
Right.
Right? So in a sense, it simplified shit because now I can do this. Right?
Yeah.
But it puts more, ultimately, responsibility on people.
But what about thought? See, that's my problem with the phone, is that it's doing so many things for us now that the whole concept of thought is just going down the drain. Like, prime example, all right, if you were, let's say you're married and you have to go grocery shopping, right? Yeah. 25, 30 years ago, when you left the house, you have to remember everything you did. Like, your wife couldn't be like, oh, well, get this and get this too and get this too and get this too. It's kind of like you have to think more efficiently. You have to be more effective when you're making decisions because we weren't as easily accessible. But it's like nowadays, since we have the option, we kind of just like, no, we don't think as much.
Oh, no, it's making us stupider.
Thank you.
The amount of geniuses is getting halved.
But everyone thinks they're intelligent.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Like, everyone thinks that they are smart, all because they can go on Google and look the shit up and then recite what they've read.
And that's not necessarily intelligent.
That's my fucking point. Yeah. But that's what people think is intelligent, but that's what the system wants. Mm-hmm. It wants to just feed you information, and as long as you can recite the information that they allocate as knowledge, which really isn't knowledge, then you now have this illusion of knowledge, which is actually worse than just not knowing.
Right. The phones are making us stupid. Technology is making us stupid.
As hell.
There's no question about that. But technology is also putting us in, it's showing us more.
True.
And I think you know what I'm talking about.
Uh-oh.
It's showing us more what? What do you think? What do you think?
I think it's showing us a lot more knowledge and interesting things that we like to look at. So what are some of the things that you like to look at with technology?
Well, I just like to look at, I remember I have fond memories of being maybe 20, 21. That's back when I would get a little high. I would get a little high. I would get a little high at night. And every night or so, maybe every night, every other night, my big cousin would call me.
That's bad, man.
With some information because we both be high.
We both would be high.
We both be high.
Yeah.
And then you call me and say, "Hey man, you gotta look at this one." And which you gotta look at.
Oh.
And I would say, "Well, what website?" We're talking about porn. Me and both of us love pornography too much.
Yeah, but we also know it's bad. We also know it's bad. Oh,
I know it's terrible.
And the thing is, the reason what makes it so bad about it is because I honestly feel sorry for the newer guys.
Yeah.
Because I'm kind of like, if they're getting this at 8, and I didn't get it till I was 20, I'm kind of like, they're screwed.
You're fucked.
They are
You're
screwed.
fucked. Because in our history where porn started, I remember you used to have DVDs, and I would steal the DVDs from you.
And I would track you down. And to your credit, you would always laugh and admittedly say, "Yeah, I took your DVD."
Yeah. I remember.
But the funny thing is why did I know it was you?
I used to love going over your house when you weren't there. I was like, why don't you go to this room real fast? And people would just let me go to your room. And no one ever asked, "Why you go to Marcel?" And
you'd be like, "Oh, I don't know what I'm doing."
And I would just be rummaging through shit, looking
like, I know he's got it.
Looking for your porn. And when I finally go, yes.
And you would always take my favorite one. And that was the whole thing. Like, you wouldn't take them all.
Yeah.
But whichever one I was looking for, and I would go for it and look, and I'd be like, shit, where is it?
Yeah.
Sector.
And then you call me, and I'll go, yeah, I got the porn. And
that's bad.
Yeah.
Think about that. Like, if you think about it, like, that's just some crazy shit.
It's crazy.
But think about how much of a jewel that was and what you had to do.
It was a treat.
And think about the newer generation.
Now it's on their phone.
They got all of it.
And you can see sick shit.
And that's my whole point. Which like they did that on purpose, man.
I don't know, man.
I think you know what I'm saying? The powers that be knew exactly what they were doing.
I think that's some necessity and demand shit. I think people demanded to see more sick shit easier, and so people then.
But how could you demand that if we didn't even know it was there? Because certain shit I didn't even know was there.
Yeah. Right, but then we saw it, and now
then it was like,
yeah. Because for a while you were in the lift and carries. Lift and carry is when a big woman picks you up and she just sucks you off.
Yeah, it's interesting.
And you were really into lift and carries, right?
Yeah.
No, I think I know why. I think it's because you're a big guy, right? And you've just been a big muscle guy all your life, and so the concept of a big strong woman picking you up did something to you spiritually.
It's possible
because it's possible. Because then you felt protected, you felt cared for,
That's true.
And so that really
then I can go, thank you, sweetie.
Right. You got to turn off your brain. You got to be all the layers go away. You're just floating in there.
And what was your one thing that you were in?
I just like car stuff.
Car stuff.
I just like because to me car stuff. I think it's because I lost my virginity in a car. Maybe that's what it is. I like, but if it's in a car, I can't get enough of it.
You lose it.
I can't get enough.
And there's a lot of that going on.
It's a lot of good car stuff, man.
There's a lot of that going on.
There's a lot of car stuff going on. It's just a lot of people making their own porno now, too.
And I think that's crazy.
Yeah. That people are so willing to get naked.
The thing is, they're not even thinking that it's anything wrong. They think it's normal. Because you got to know that pornography is just social media.
Yeah.
So that's all it is.
To a certain group of people, it does have that same ease. It has the same, I just had, it's my birthday, happy birthday, or here's my butthole. It's the same kind of like upload.
And then porn stars will just reach out to each other like, hey, let's do a thing together. Hey, let's do this. And they just network with each other. Yeah. And next thing you know, they're doing shit. It's just social media. Like, it's no different.
But I'm talking about just the people who aren't even porn stars. There's people who like, there's on Pornhub, there's so many.
Oh, amateurs.
People.
It's all amateurs.
Fucking, you know what I mean?
They're taking over.
Uber drivers who just on the side, I you know.
Yeah, I feel it.
You know, and I go.
That's how you know the world is going crazy, bro. Like the world is going crazy. Like that's the whole sleeping giant no one's talking about.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, all right, this shit is getting out of control.
Yeah.
Out of control.
But don't you love it though?
No, I get scared.
No, you don't.
No, I'm gonna be honest with you. I do get scared.
You get scared to go to porn sites?
Oh, absolutely. I called you one. I actually sent you a text message, and I was like, wait a minute now. this is going too far.
Yeah, you did.
Receipt?
Yeah.
I do get scared.
So wait a minute.
This is going too far. This is going too far.
Now your pastor said stop jerking off so much, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. That sucks, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That sucks. That's our big issue.
And
no one talks about that issue enough. But people are.
Oh, listen. There's so many of us that got that problem. It's ridiculous. But the thing is, we don't think there's anything wrong with it. We think, oh, yeah, it's just normal.
Well, me and you know it is.
That is normal?
No, me and you know that there's something bizarre about it.
But we just got to that point.
Yeah.
Decades, we just thought it was, oh, yeah, it's just like, this is what you're supposed to do.
I think ultimately it harms how we interact with everyone in the world.
Absolutely.
Because it really does turn you into a troll at a certain degree.
Like that picture you see.
That picture, but it really does make you, at the end of the day,
you're just like, oh.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It destroys something in you.
Absolutely. But I think social media is doing that across the board.
Yeah. Yeah, I've never thought about how porn and social media are very...
They're exactly the same.
They are. They both satisfy something.
And most people put more energy and effort into that as opposed to actually developing.
And none of it's fucking real.
That's my point.
It's not.
So how do you even know the difference between, oh, this is my friend versus this is just someone who's acting like they're my friend?
Or this is just my friend acting like that as a person. It's not fucking real. It's just this. It's this curated side of us.
Yeah.
It's very curated. It's very artificial.
Yeah.
But
that's what people want. And since you're talking about artificial, now you got to start talking about artificial intelligence.
Right.
Which is where everything is going. So, and I remember, I don't know what podcast I looked at, but they said essentially social media is like a movie. So it's kind of like we watch a movie for, an hour and a half to 3 hours, but it took, a year, 2 years to make that movie. So people don't want to do what it takes to actually make the movie. They just want to watch the movie. So essentially what artificial intelligence is going to do is just going to give people the movie that they want to experience, as opposed to people doing what it actually takes to actually experience the life that they actually want to live. They're just going to give it to you. So that's why this whole social distancing thing is like, yeah, everybody's just going to be in the house, plugged up to some VR, some goggles, and just experiencing some artificial world because it's going to feed that need. And then where does our society go from there? Because you're already seeing it. Guess what kids are doing in school? How are kids doing in school now? At home, on the screen. Think about if you and I have kids, what if that's their reality? That they never actually get to be in a school, meeting friends and actually developing friends, that the only friends they see in their grade are on the screen.
That's terrifying.
But what if that really does happen?
And it could.
It's very fucking close.
It could.
It's very fucking close.
It could happen for a lot of reasons. It could happen to save costs, because now one teacher can teach 200. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that cuts down this thing that I was told there'll always be need for. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It is bizarre times. And I think part of me hopes it's just first world shit. Part of me hopes that one day I'll be able to go to Brazil or fucking the Dominican Republic, just live there, a simpler life.
Yeah.
And because I do think that it's like a mold, right? It's mold, and it's gonna hit the most developed places first.
Absolutely.
And you'll see all this weird fuck shit happening, and the world will change, and motherfuckers will become these plugged in semi-humans.
Yeah.
Right. And then hopefully that I can just run. Then I'll just get on a plane. I'll start a new life somewhere less developed.
Yeah.
And that's humanity now.
Right.
Humanity has to be where the money isn't, or humanity has to be where the tech isn't so accessible. But that is a scary concept. I love America, man. America's great, but it's so much fuck shit going on behind the curtain.
Kind of like The Good Place, the show The Good Place.
Yeah.
That's exactly what America is. Like, you think it's this wonderful place, but it's really hell. It's just giving you the illusion of heaven, but it's hell.
Yeah, it is.
You clearly see it happening. It's very clear.
Yeah.
It's hell.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like right now they got the curtains closed right now because of social distancing, And they got like, all right, well, just we're going to see, but wait till they open those curtains up again.
It's gonna be a scary reveal.
Oh, people gonna be losing their shit, and I will be laughing my ass off.
Yeah.
Because I'm no longer being the hero. I'm embracing anti-hero all the way.
And that's the dark side. That's your dark side.
No, what? That's how you stay balanced. I'm not good or bad. I'm just.
I say you're good. I would say you're bad. That's your dark side. Your dark side is how easy it is for you to abandon people.
Well, it isn't so much abandoning people, and I think that like when you, as martial artists, when you start really evolving with it, you start to see that if you become too good, you actually become bad. Superman, because he's trying to be too good, he becomes bad. So it's almost better to just kind of embrace that gray area. Know that it's there, because when you go to those extremes, you're bound to just flip right on over and be bad. It happens to all of them.
You're right. Yeah, man, you're right. You gotta embrace the gray.
You gotta embrace the gray.
It's also not our responsibility to be hero, really, to a large degree.
No.
Or maybe it is our responsibility. Maybe that's why we're put here. Maybe we're put here to help others.
Well, we are. We are here to help others.
Yeah.
But the thing about help is, if someone isn't genuinely receptive to it, they won't receive it. You see what I'm saying? Like you as a teacher, I'm sure you have students that are like, hey,
Smoke.
Can you help me with this? And then you helping them, it's an easy thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you're trying to help somebody that doesn't genuinely want it, you'll be talking and talking and talking and talking, and the only thing you're doing is just wasting energy.
Mm-hmm.
When it's kind of like, well, don't even focus on him. Just wait until somebody who's actually receptive to it and just give it to them. Because you can't save them all. Like when you look at all of the holy books, they never say that everybody's going to be okay. Like it's never been like, okay, the whole world is just going to be this perfect utopia. It's like, no, there's going to be a select few that kind of understand what's going on,
Mm-hmm.
and you got to reach out and help those. I mean, look at the Underground Railroad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Select few.
Select.
Everyone else said, no, I'll just stick to being a slave. Which was legal at the time, which goes back to my whole concept. Stop listening to the fucking government.
Mm-hmm.
So just because they say this is what you should do doesn't mean that it's right.
I think social distancing is right, though.
I'm not saying it isn't.
Right. Okay.
I'm not saying it isn't.
Okay.
Now, if you're making that determination for yourself,
Then that's for myself.
Great.
That's what I'm making it for
Great.
myself. Okay.
Great. Great. Make that determination for
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah. Because to me, it makes sense.
Yeah.
To me, to stop the spread of something, you can't be around. That I understand.
Makes sense.
But I do see how one could be, like I said, questioning that type of shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, we've been drinking the CBD stuff, man. That CBD's got me, man.
This is good stuff.
It's good stuff, man.